This is cool. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Good evening, Qatar. And salam alaikum, Colorado, USA. Khalifa in the house with us, guys. And we have Rashid Al Mansouri and Ahmed with us. Welcome to the 21st edition of the weekly virtual Big B meetup. Big B Meetup is a community initiative founded in 2018 in Qatar. It is dedicated to my mother, the late Aureliana Josephine, and inspired by the people of Qatar, both local and expatriate. It aims to educate, to inform, to inspire, and bring communities together. Due to the pandemic, we have taken Big B Meetup to the virtual world, and thus we have the weekly virtual Big B Meetup. Today we have as our guests Arab Ironmen, adventure sports professionals, and endurance enthusiasts. Khalifa Al Misnad, Rashid Al Mansouri, and my man Ahmed Al Shahrani. Welcome aboard, guys, and thank you for participating in Big B Meetup.
Thanks for having
Let's.
us, Baskin.
You're welcome. Let's cut to the chase, guys, and let's go head on with Khalifa. Now, you all might not know, but I know Khalifa for more than 15 years. I mean, he might not know me that well, but I know him. I've been following the guy. And Khalifa, if you could introduce yourselves to our viewers today. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, sure. Well, I'll stick to the topic of the conversation. Really, I'm being being a outdoorsman, I guess, is really the topic of conversation today. So much of my life, sports has been quite an important discipline, and especially I'd say in the last few years, I've stepped it up a notch with more endurance activities, and I found that it kind of grounds me, it humbles me, it disciplines me, it gets me away from a lot of the noise and distractions of daily life and into more of a simplistic reality. So finding balance has been a core, I'd say, strategy in my life in the last few years. But in a nutshell, background beyond that, studied engineering and law, engineering in Texas, law also in Texas, went back, worked in an in-house legal counsel at QP for a while. And then I started my own business. And from there, I enjoyed it so much, I started a few more. But with, I think, the entrepreneurial lifestyle, anybody who's gone that route, they know that it can be stressful. And I think that's why I had that divergence towards finding balance in the last few years. And that's it in a nutshell.
wow, that is really nice. I love the way you explained that. I like the way you said keeps you grounded and humbled. I love that. I want to delve
Appreciate
more
it.
into that a little later. I like that little silhouette you're making there. What is that with you, or who is he?
Oh, this thing. This
Yeah,
little guy is Teddy.
Teddy. Hello, Teddy.
This is this is the only bear look-alike that we can handle up here in the mountains.
In the mountains.
In the
Lovely.
mountains of Colorado.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Uh, so when did the adventure bug bite you, Khalifa? When did it all start?
It's tough to say, but I'd say I truly became an adventurer when I met this guy below me. I don't know if that orientation is right, but Rashid Mansouri. The
Yes,
first
the
time I
orientation
actually
is right.
did. You can hear me, Rashid?
Yes, I
Maybe.
can hear you.
Oh, fantastic. So,
Excellent.
yeah, I met Rashid in a 200-kilometer ultra marathon called Samle, and that was maybe what 4 or 5 years ago. So since then, I think I really stepped it up a notch in my adventures because I mean these ultra marathons last anywhere from a day to 2 days and beyond, depending on the person. But it's definitely an
Yeah,
experience.
that's amazing. Since I mean we know I mean you know how amazing endurance it was to get all of us on board. So let me quickly switch to Rashid. Rashid, could you please introduce yourselves to our guests here, please?
Hi, so I'm Rashid Al Mansouri. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm
Khalifa, you
Rashid
can
Al
hear him, right?
Mansouri. Sorry?
Yep, perfect. Carry on. Carry on.
Yeah. I'm Rashid Al Mansouri. I am an instructor, kite surfing instructor. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as Khalifa said about Samla, so yeah, for me too, Samla has changed my life. I've graduated from Aspire Academy as a football player.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah. So
mashallah.
after Aspire Academy, I had a really really bad accident by car. I got into coma. So when I woke up from the coma after 3 days, I had problem with the nerve in my leg. So I couldn't continue playing football. So this was in 2011. From 2011 to 2015, I was trying to play football, to go back to the football industry, but I couldn't have my performance back. So when I heard about Samla, I participated in Samla and I knew Khalifa in Samla. So Alhamdulillah in Samla I got a second place.
Wow.
And yeah,
Wow.
it was the first Samla.
Can I hang on? Can I ask Khalifa what place did he get? Although it doesn't matter. I'm just asking.
It's disputed. I don't compete with Rashid. He did better than me, though.
Whoa. Mashallah. Wow, Rashid. You're very, you know.
The first year, so when I knew Khalifa from Samla,
Just talk to him.
he invited me to train kite surfing. He said, "Oh, you need to come. You will like it." I said, "Yeah, sure, man."
Can you refresh?
And
Ask
I
him.
go and participate with Khalifa. Alhamdulillah, I trained well, and they picked me to be with the national team. And I traveled to Poland and China to participate in international tournaments. Okay. After that, things happened with the federation. Um, they saw that kite surfing is not an Olympic game and it's taking a lot of money. So they take it out from the federation. Okay. So yeah, we left alone, like no equipment, no coaches, nothing. So here I rely on myself, and with the help of my coach in the federation, he's Tom. Yeah, I send my regards to Tom, my coach.
Great.
Yeah, so Tom helped me out to train and
Is he listening?
improve my skills
Is he listening in today?
outside from the federation.
Is Rashid, is Tom listening in today? We should share this with him. It's always good to pay it back. That's very nice.
So yeah, so Tom is my man. So he helped me. I improved my skills, and this was like from 4 years ago. And during this time, we keep in touch, like we are good friends. So aside of training kite surfing, I was doing my university bachelor's degree. So I just graduated on May, and I applied for jobs, but you know the coronavirus thing. So I took the chance. I talked to Tom. I said, "Oh, Tom, you know, I want to be an instructor. Can you help me?" He said, "Yeah, sure." So I had some lessons with Tom to be an instructor. So then I go help him with his students because he coaches kite surfing, and Alhamdulillah, I did well with coaching the students. And Alhamdulillah, I got more students, more students, more students.
Mashallah.
So now the Qatari people are more interested about kite surfing. And we have a lot of new kite surfers.
Fantastic. That's so nice. That's a lovely story.
So for me now, kite surfing, I do kite surfing like full time.
Wow, that's great. So,
Yeah.
when did you actually take up kite surfing? And did you get any? Did you win any badges? Are you a accredited kite surfer?
Okay. So
I did.
as a player, yes, I participate in international tournaments. So I have like my member in the International Kite Boarding Association. But as an instructor, no, not yet. I need to travel abroad and have the course to be to have the IKO certificate to be international instructor.
Okay, lovely, great. So we let's welcome our guest today, Evelyn Maria from Colorado, and Elizabeth Yaw. She is the president of the American Women's Association here in Qatar. Welcome, Elizabeth. As I told you that we have a guy from Colorado as our guest, and the phenomenal Rashid. Rashid, I'm so glad I mean Khalifa got you onto this show today. It's all about inclusivity, not exclusivity. Because I know Khalifa and I know Ahmed, but I didn't know who's Rashid. But I'm so happy. I'd like to call you my friend of just 2 days, but
Thank
hey,
you so much. Thank you
you,
so much, and really, I'm thankful. Like I knew Khalifa in 2016, and he got me into the kitesurfing world.
oh, so
Thank you
okay,
so
so
much.
that's how it goes. Okay, excellent. So you scratch my back, I scratch your back. So Salamat, what's that? The endurance racer and then the kite surfer. Uh, Rashid, what's very interesting to know is you were part of the youth Qatari youth delegation to the 25th UN Youth Assembly. That must have been amazing. Can you give us please elaborate on that? Can you give us your story there? Of what was it like?
Yeah, sure. Like in Qatar, we have the for the United Nations for the Youth Assembly, but I participated with the International School Sport Federation. I was not go for the 25th. I did participate representing the Qatari delegation. I participated representing the International School Sport Federation. Yeah,
Oh,
so I am a part of the International School Sports Federation. It's an international federation for the school sport. Like schools from different countries, they have like tournaments, international tournaments.
okay.
So we have the Athlete and Youth Committee, and I'm the vice chairman of this committee.
Yeah, that's a big title, man, for a young guy like you. MashaAllah, the vice chairman of the Athletic Youth Committee of the International
Thank you.
School. Wow. I need to know
Thank
more
you.
about this, you know. Yeah, I need to know more about this. So, what I do is I have four titles, four subjects of my Big B meetup. Prior to coronavirus, I had six Big B meetups. So, one is sports and wellness. Yeah, with my last one before Corona in February, I had it at Mo Altani's altitude in Lusail. And Ahmed, yeah, something is, guys, we're having a small technical issue, but we are never giving up. We're still at it. You know, for the past 21 issues, 21 episodes of Big B Meetup, we either had some one or two problems here and there, but we never gave up, right? That's the Corona anthem, never giving up. So coming back to yeah, so I have four titles of four episode subjects of Big B Meetup. One was sports and wellness. One is special needs, which I have themed as this ability. So people with disability are actually people with this ability, you know. So I play on the word phonetically, and I have one istidama, which I would like to talk to you about, Rashid, because I believe you have a green thumb. You've acted in a movie with something to do with environment. Can you share a little more light on that, Rashid?
Oh, so
Let's move to the movies.
yeah, sure, sure. One Earth, One Ocean. You had Muhammad Al Muhannadi. I
Yes.
think the last
Yeah.
big.
Yeah. From Generation Amazing, a lovely gentleman. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So Muhammad Al Muhannadi is the founder of One Earth, One Ocean.
Oh,
So
he didn't tell me that.
yeah, yeah, he's the founder. Yeah. So I knew them like in 2015. It was in Empower. You know Empower, the one
Yeah.
that wrote Tattoo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I knew them there. I really was. I had really inspiration that young leaders like them having this initiative. So I joined them, and we did a movie about Under the Roots,
Okay.
talking about how to keeping the environment, like how to keep the environment safe and clean.
That's fantastic. I would like to know more about that because you know it's my endeavor to produce a movie, a short film on Istidama, and I'm working on it right now. It's really short time for me, but I'm trying to get something ready for the Sundance festival that's coming up. So
Yeah.
let's see if I can make it. Ahmed, can you hear us, Ahmed?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, fantastic. Alhamdulillah. I got my co-host here, buddy. Excellent. Everything is working out. If you have sabr, if you have patience, and you have endurance in you, if you can do a 80 or 100-kilometer race, what is the net then, right? Khalifa, can we
I'm
come
here.
back to Khalifa? I want to ask Khalifa a few more questions. Not like, yeah, what what word best describes you, Khalifa? Because I don't know if you know, I'm a big fan of yours, as I am a fan of Ahmed's, and I'm sure going to become a fan of Rashid. This guy, phenomenal story. You had an accident, you had a nerve issue, and you were a professional football player, and then you moved to running 100K races for fun. That's crazy. So, Khalifa, what word describes you? What word or words? Don't make it a paragraph, but if you want, you can.
Mm. One word. I'd say probably adventurous, because that kind of ties into a lot of different things and ties into your show. But
That's why.
I would say adventurous. Why? Because I believe a lot in trial and error and getting out of your comfort zone. And so adventure doesn't necessarily mean getting on an airplane and going exploring, but it's just, I'd
Fantastic.
say, adventuring into the unknown. So anybody that knows me knows that I'm jack of maybe all trades, but master of none. But at the end of the day, I mean, I'm only competing with myself and trying to grow. And I believe that life is all about personal growth. So if you're not adventurous, if you're not
Yeah.
curious, then I feel that you're kind of losing out on the power and beauty of what life has to offer. Because there's an infinite, number of things you can put your energy into, right? And I think that's the
True,
biggest.
true.
That's
Well,
the
well,
biggest. Go ahead.
you're more. I would give you one word. You're more of a thinker. The way you've spoken just now, you're like a Voltaire or a Rousseau.
I appreciate that, but maybe I'm adventuring into my brain and spitting out this spiel. So
Yeah, that's fantastic.
there's plenty of times I don't think, so I wouldn't say that's the one word that I would
No, because
associate.
I believe you're an artist because let me go there. You are. I
You're
love
using more
your.
than one word. You're not even playing by your own rules, Bosco.
Pardon?
Said you're not playing by your own rules. You said one word.
I know, but no, actually, I said what word or words best describe you, or even a paragraph. But that's fine. But I believe you're an artist because over the years I've been watching your flicks, your videos, I think you're very good with the drone, and even the stories that your Insta stories say so much about you. You exude so much of calm with your pictures, and you got a humor tumor. You're pretty, yeah,
Appreciate
that's
it.
yeah, exactly. Khalifa, there's a question here from Cliff. If I'm not mistaken, is Khalifa the lead actor in Medina? Well, he's already jumping here. I wanted to ask you that question, but yeah, well, he gets uh, top dibs to ask you. Uh,
Well, Cliff is spot on, actually. But I don't know if anybody knows Medina yet because it hasn't been released yet. It's top secret.
oh, really?
Well,
Yeah.
Rashid apparently he knows a little bit about it, but yeah, it hasn't been released yet. It's on Arab timing.
Oh, okay. Wow. So, Khalifa, what keeps you going? What would you say your greatest achievements on an adventure front, on a personal front, if you would like to say, your milestones?
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say that there's one milestone because I'd look at it more of the journey. I mean, we always set this goal and this milestone and something to achieve and
Yeah,
something to get to. And when you get there, it's not necessarily everything you'd expected it to be, right? I mean, I'll just give an analogy of
yeah,
climbing a mountain, right? Climbing a mountain
yeah.
is definitely a beautiful thing when you get to the top, but the
Rashid.
true, substance I think behind the journey is the journey itself. So I
True.
would say I've accomplished making it this far in life, and I think an accomplishment that I've had is being able to optimize and utilize my energy for things that are ultimately going to be positive for me, and which and translates, I think, to being positive to other people in the community and giving back.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily label it on one thing because it's not necessarily anything I accomplish is not necessarily a derivative of myself. It's also supported from everything else around me. It could be the people on the show right now. I mean, I know Ahmed's been inspiring to me, Rashid's been inspiring to me. So there's so many different factors around you that's help you accomplish things. But I couldn't really say it's one thing because it's so cumulative, right? It's there's
True,
so many
true.
different layers to an accomplishment.
Yeah, very true. Rashid, there's a question for you from my serial questioner actually. Let me introduce you to my very good friend Ahmed Al Hajri. He's a Qatari artist, a very good artist, and he's exhibiting right now at the COVID Expo at Sheikh Faisal's Museum in Shahaniya. So his question is, I am curious to know why sports like kite surfing, rugby, and other types of sports are, are celebrated enough in Qatar. It seems that the main focus is football and maybe basketball. Hey, we have a national basketball player with us here. Hang on. Tennis and horse riding. Yeah. So I think he's saying why, but I think you nearly answered the question earlier, prior in the previous in the earlier you had answered that. But can you shortly tell him what exactly? Can you answer that question, Rashid?
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. So for us, like if you go for the history of Qatar, when you go back, you see all people like were like the most played sport in Qatar was the football. So everyone loves football.
True.
So as the country grows, develops, so other sports come in, you know.
Yeah.
So for us, yeah, football is the number one sport in Qatar. So it's like the people who decide which sport to be like the most well-known sport in the country. So as
Yeah.
our people like loves football so much, so football is the best. Yeah, football will get more fun. Football will be the will take the lead
Till
compared to the other
2022.
sport.
Habibi, till 2022. But then we will see, okay? Yeah, talking about football, the greatest Bayern Munich fan is here with us, Michael Zeman, and he gives us greetings from Germany. He's just so proud of winning the treble with the he just won the treble with Bayern Munich, and there he is. So he's back. Khalifa, are you back with us? Okay, guys, no worries. Oh yeah, there's another lovely question for you, Rashid. Ahmed keeps. I told you he's my serial questioner actually. His question is, how do you kite surf wearing a white tobe? He saw your pictures on Instagram. Could you talk more about that and the mobility?
Okay, so it's really not an easy thing to do because I've been playing kite surfing for 4 years. So
Okay.
that's why I'm capable of doing that. But I'll tell you, kite surfing is not an easy sport, and doing it with wearing dove and veteran agal is it's not something easy. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So what are the other sports you play, Rashid? What other sports do you play?
Okay, so as I told you, like my childhood, I was a football player till I graduated from the Football Academy, 18 years old. So after the 18 years old, when I had the car accident, my life had like shifted, you know. So I was okay. I tried to play football again for 5 years, but I couldn't. Like I didn't get the ability to play football again. So after some lap, I tried, like I played many sports. I played kayaking, cycling, climbing, via ferrata. I went also for archery, shooting. So I found myself. I really felt comfortable. When I kite surf, really, it's like life for me. Really, kite surfing is my life. So for me now, I do kite surfing like as a full time. When I coach, when I go on a play, man, alhamdulillah, I don't get bored from
That's
kite
nice.
surfing.
That's fantastic. I hope I can join you at a kite surfing once, but you might have to take care of me because neither can I swim, and I get a little bit of fear of heights. So you'll have to really take care of me like a little baby. Talking of which, Khalifa, I have a question from you for my sister Geraldine Menezes. She's
Sure.
a oh yeah, she's a she's a female entrepreneur, and she's curious to know about the entrepreneur organization. Talking of which, you're part of how women work. How women work? How does that work, man? You're a man.
Yeah, it's a good question. No, I took part in a small workshop with how women work at one point as a director, just kind of providing feedback. So that was a one-off. But I think her question was regarding the entrepreneurs organization and to know more about it. And that's essentially, it's a global organization for entrepreneurs. And the whole idea is you want to put like-minded people in together on a platform. Just like we are here as outdoorsy sportsmen. When you put people into a similar environment with similar interests, I think there's a lot of challenges that you all face, and so sharing of experiences is a big component of the entrepreneurs organization. I mean, I think like any niche organization, you want to learn from the mistakes of others or the success of others. So EO, the Entrepreneurs Organization, I think is a fantastic organization that's geared towards helping entrepreneurs get to the next level.
That's fantastic. Really lovely. Khalifa, backtracking actually on you. You played basketball for the Qatar national team,
Yeah.
and more recently the kite surfing. You're part of the national kite surfing team. Is that where you also met Rashid? Are you part of the same team, or different genre, different
No,
age
no.
groups?
I met Rashid originally in Sumla, and then I dragged him into the kiting world because I thought he'd enjoy it. But
Oh,
yeah, I started out in Nad Rayan, so I got some black but not red on me right now. But
oh, Anna Rayani,
Rayan
Anna Rayani. I'm a Rayan
and
fan,
Rayani,
buddy. Yeah,
really,
Rayani. Yeah,
the best fans are Rayan fans. So then
absolutely.
I moved sorry, go ahead.
I hope there are no wolves out here, as in the
Out
Asadawis.
here?
Asadawis, yeah.
Oh, there. No, no, no. But
Yeah.
yeah, I played basketball for the national team. The kiting team was a small team. I mean, you've got a small community in Qatar and globally that picked up kiting because it's only maybe 15, 20 years old that the sport's been out.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I think with basketball and sports in general, what it taught me is discipline. Basketball being a team sports, it really taught leadership skills, communication skills. How do you pick each other up? So I mean, whether you're playing a solo sport or a team sport, I think every sport can teach you something new. And Rashid can probably vouch for it since he was talking about all the different sports he's done. I mean, there's a silver lining thread that connects everything at the end of the day. But it's and again, being adventurous, I think it's worthwhile to kind of experiment with everything. And in Qatar, the reason I was recommending kite surfing to Rashid is because we have the sea. We don't have mountains, we don't have anything else.
Yeah.
So a lot of the focus of what we should do is how do we leverage the environment that we have available to us. We have great, water all year round, temperature-wise. We have good wind, and kite surfing is one of those sports where you really interact with nature because you've got the water at your feet, you've got the wind at your waist, you've got the sun shining down on you. So it's definitely a beautiful sport to do in Qatar, and take advantage of what our environment has to offer there. What was the question, by the way? I think I rambled
No,
on.
it doesn't matter about the question. It's the answer that you give. You know that it's always the answer. It is a. I love the way I'm telling you. You're a thinker. I'm not. I'm changing. You're not an adventurer. You're a thinker. I'm very excited.
I
Well,
appreciate
I like. Well, I'd like to introduce you guys. So, what I've been doing for the past 3 weekends is I've joined the Qatar Natural History Group on their Raudat Rambles. I call it the Raudat Ramble. So we go to different Raudats, Raudat Al Faras, Raudat Al Rashid, Raudat Al Rashid, of course, yeah. And we have been, we've been with environmentalists. We've been going and having a look at gerbils, at spiders, at different plants. Like I got to know about the Rose of Jericho the other day, which is a phenomenal plant. of, I think it's found also in Arizona, in the States also, where it's a miracle plant. They call it the resurrection flower. And there's so much to learn in the desert too. So I am going to launch something called the Big B Rawdat Rambles in October, and I would love for Rashid, for Ahmed, and for Khalifa to join in with me, if you can. I'd like y'all to be part ambassadors of my program. If you could join in once in a while. So maybe a Thursday evening or a Friday evening or a Friday 4 a.m. Meetup on the Shahania Road, and we go with our little torch lights, and we don't hunt any animals, but we just observe them. Yeah, what do you
I
think?
completely agree with not hunting. Rashid knows
Thank
this.
you.
Sounds good to me.
Thank you very much. I like that. I like talking about hunting. Let me go to my life coach, my Ahmed Al Shahrani. Are you there with us?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. Wow, he's got patience. Ahmed, I know so much about you, but can you, I mean, can you explain to everybody who you are? Can you let the guests, the new guests, because I know you're part of Big B Meetup. For me, you're part of my core team of Big B Meetup, because
Yeah.
you've been at the first Big B Meetup at the Torch Hotel in 2018 April. You've actually co-hosted my fourth Big B Meetup on disability in the again in Inspire with the what's that hotel called? I can't remember the hotel. But you took care of that event. It was your event more than mine. And then you even uh, you were the host for the last one with Mo and with Sheikha Aisha and the others,
Yeah, the
right?
Ventures.
Exactly. So can you tell
Yes.
everybody who you are to me, and who you are to yourself?
I'm me to me, and I'm your friend, I guess, and whatever you want to call me. But I'm Ahmed Shahrani. I'm a young, ambitious individual who is differently abled, as you put it. Um, but I'm a adapted athlete. I've been taking part in sports before I had my disability, and uh, I think it's just in my DNA to take part in sports, to take part in life, and just throw my hat wherever I can. So, I mean,
رؤية غطرة.
I think that's me. That's me in a nutshell.
Yeah. So you've done marathons. You've inspired me. You're my impromptu life coach. I come to you when I'm in doubt, and although you're much younger than me, but you exude calm. You exude common sense. And you use the German word "anstrengung," which is against all odds. So you're phenomenal, Ahmed. But I just recently got to know that you ventured into not fencing. What's it? Archery. I Can you
Yeah,
tell me more about that? Is You just keep raising the bar. I mean, I hope I'm not your target there, but please let us know about your archery.
you are my target. I have a lot to catch up with. You have all these big beat up virtual beat up meetings, and
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
been left out.
yeah. Hey, hang on.
But
Hey,
I huh,
I asked you to be the
yeah.
co-host, and you declined. Remember, because I couldn't handle this on my own. But see, you threw me out to the sharks, and here I am on my 21st episode. By the way, Rashid and Khalifa,
And you
Ahmed.
say you can't swim.
Yeah,
Hmm.
well, if you throw somebody in the water, if he has to live, he'll try to swim. But anyways, Ahmed, Khalifa and Rashid, Ahmed was the co-host of my first virtual Big B meetup early in April this year, and my second when we had it on Zoom, and then I moved to this professional software, Be Live TV, to have to go live every Saturday. Yeah, and I wanted Khalifa to come on the show much earlier, but we couldn't get that. But I'm glad we've chosen this week, because then I had Rashid Al Mansouri on board. And yeah, Ahmed, please,
Yeah.
can you? I digress a lot, so please excuse me. But Ahmed, can you explain about the archery? How
Well, for
and
me,
where?
I think sports. Well, right now it's at home, so I'm learning how to perfect my technique. For me, sports you have a lot of transferable skills. So you take things you learn in in Maidan, the what is it in English? I'm forgetting. But anyway,
Certainly.
you learn these skill sets on the pitch, right? You learn these techniques, the discipline, how to reach your goals, and you transfer it to life. I think for me, archery presents focus, it presents concentration, it presents for me, an unknown that I have to learn to master. And I think everything is just mastering yourself, and then later on applying that so you can master the environment around you. So for me, that's I think why I went to archery is to learn a new skill set, to learn to focus more, and then how to transfer that into my day-to-day life. And I think any athlete, any person who is involved in sports, I think they're aware of it, whether it's subconscious or on a conscious level. And when you're on that conscious level, all right, what am I learning? What can I use this as? For me, I think the one sport which I most benefit from was fencing, because in fencing, you learn to multitask, you learn to take decisions right on the spot. There's no time to actually think things out. It's you either react or you lose a point.
True. And sneaking, I mean, I've always sneaked onto your Instagram stories. You're another poet and an aspiring. I'm not aspiring. You're a you have a photographic eye too. So where do you get your inspiration from, Ahmed? When you've been inspiring everybody else, but even the inspirers need inspiration. Where do you get your inspiration from? Don't tell me your cup of coffee every morning, huh, or every night.
I love a good cup of coffee, but I think I'm a philosopher because me and Khalifa we share a birth month. We're both Aries.
Oh,
Yeah. So
okay.
I think we're very, I think we like to think, we like to, contemplate. So I think a lot of Aries are in some way
Okay.
introverts, so they're more inside. And but for me, I don't know where the inspiration comes from. I think life is inspiration. I think living and being out there, there is that. All right, so this is what I recently discovered about myself. I'm not a negative person. I'm usually a positive person, and I think for me, I always see the big picture. So the only negativity I have are on the small things. Oh, I spilled my coffee, so I think bad. But like on the big picture, I see the big picture. I'm like, things are gonna be fine. Things are gonna be good. Things are gonna work out. And it's only on the micros that I get, it gets under my skin. And once I master that, khalas, I'm gonna be a Zen master. But I think for me, I'm just happy, grateful to be alive, grateful to have family around me, despite everything. I live a very comfortable, happy, enjoyable life. I have my family around me, I have my brothers around me. I mean, there's so many positives to look at, and that's what I think gets me through things. And you're only gonna live once, so even if it goes bad, you don't have to repeat it.
Wow. That's why you're my life coach. I told you that. Yeah. Well, Khalifa, there's a question for you from somebody. Yeah, from somebody. Can you explain? Can you give us your Samla experience, if you want, in a nutshell, or how did the Samla thing go?
Yeah, I think Samla is very analogous to life because it's a long journey, right? I mean, when you start thinking 200 kilometers or whatever the case may be, it sounds kind of overburdening, but what you really learn out of it is that just like life, everything should be taken just one step at a time. Just there will be obstacles in the way. You will spill your coffee, whatever the case may be. But all these challenges pass, right? I mean, anything that's ever happened to you, it's just a matter of it's either you fight it or you embrace it. You learn what you need to out of it. Another beautiful, I think, thing I learned was that, like when I first started it, the first year, I'd pack pretty heavy. You think you might need extra shirts or a toothbrush or whatever. I mean, it's a long journey, and then as you do more and more of these races, you start to realize, well, you have to carry all this baggage, whether it's something tangible that you put on your back, or if it's something mental in your head. So it really taught me how to just clear the unnecessary noise. And I agree with Ahmed completely in terms of we do have to keep the bigger picture in mind. But there's also a balance of trying to keep the now in mind. and understands that nothing is ever perfect, right? That is actually the beauty of life. Without winter, you can't have summer. Without hot or cold or good and bad, and you have to have that opposite element to things. So dealing with challenges can be somewhat difficult and frustrating, I think, in life to all of us. I mean, we have to figure out ways to manage those frustrations. But when we can see beyond it, when we can see the bigger picture, and when we do realize that everything is taken one step at a time, and that there is no rush, and trying to be in the moment, I think is so critical. So yeah, I think with Samla, it really makes you more aware, because it cleans up all the noise. It brings out the raw nature of an individual, because they're really faced with a lot of mental and physical challenges. And I think once you do take away all those extra layers and you do connect with that internal self, and to persevere, I think that's where you start to realize that you do have infinite possibilities in life and direction and control. But you do have to step by step master yourself and master your mind. And Samla, for me, has been a long journey in doing that.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say, guys, I think I made a mistake here. I shouldn't have called this program Adventurers and Sports. We should have called this the poetic justice of talk of poets. I would love to have either each of you together or on a different platform again, because you guys need to write a book. Are you guys working on a book?
Not yet. Maybe we'll connect later on and do it.
I'll do the
No, see,
introduction.
yeah, absolutely. No, because one of my goals to write a book on Qatar and India, a bit of Goa, a bit of Bombay where I grew up, and Qatar where I grew up too. It's going to be more photographic because I'm a photographer. I want to do that, and I'd like to get a little note from you, Ahmed, on my book, because you inspire me all the time. Uh, I have. I want to go back to Rashid. Rashid, somebody's asking me offline actually to talk a bit more about Under the Roots, because I'm part of the a couple of green organizations in Qatar, and I want to do a lot with environment. Recently, 3 weeks ago, on a Friday morning, a group of environmentalists and myself, we went to the Irkia farms to witness beauty and to greet the what do you call it, flamingos, the migratory birds. And then a couple of guys come there
Yeah.
and shoot them down for fun. To our astonishment, they just shot them. I was okay if they shot them and took them home and ate them up or ate them out there, because you can have a meal, right? If you're shooting, do something with it. They just shot the beautiful bird and left it and went. So a couple of Norwegians, a couple of Brits, Americans, and a couple of other Asians. I mean, the environment group, the multinational group, Qatar National History Group. We were just shocked. We were like, "What's happening here?" Rashid, have you left the conversation?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm still here.
okay, cool, great. So I just want you to talk a little bit more about Under the Roots, so that it gives me more power, as in, there are Qataris who are also doing a lot for environment, and
Yeah,
Under
sure.
the Roots.
So about Under the Roots, it's
Can you see him, guys? Khalifa, Ahmed, can you see it?
movie we did
Yeah.
this, like
Okay.
No, his feed's gone.
movie,
Yeah.
So
Hang
it
on,
was
Rashid.
like
Can you reboot yourself? Can you reboot
sorry.
and come back? We cannot see you on the screen. Can you come back? I'll move the questions to Khalifa and to Ahmed, but we cannot see you on the screen. So what you do is just refresh. Yeah, this is part of the conversation now. So I'm pretty chill. So let's go back to Khalifa. Khalifa, have you taken photography seriously at any point?
Define seriously.
Oh, okay. Now you're putting me on the spot. Well, have you bought a Leica or a Hasselblad and taken your camera and done some serious shoots? And because have you gone to the Everglades? Have you been to? I mean, you travel all across, but what is your what have you taken part in any photographic competitions or?
Yeah, actually, before Instagram became well, made everybody a photographer, I guess. I got I got a DSLR about 10 years ago, and I kind of jumped in the deep end. Didn't know how to use a camera, but I mean, it made me learn. And so I did travel a lot, and I think with a lot of my adventures, it was quite handy. And like you were saying earlier, I mean, I really believe that your photography is similar also to life in the sense of it's how you frame things, right? And so there's a million different frames or ways you can frame a setting. So I found it really interesting just looking at different angles, and I guess maybe an engineering background helps me see symmetry in different ways, although they say engineers are a bit technical. But yeah, I took photography quite seriously for a while. I think once Instagram came out, I got a little bored with it because there was just so much content. And then I got into aerial photography with drone footage, because with aerial photography, you have so many additional dimensions and you see the world from a completely different angle that you usually don't see. So drone photography has been interesting. I mean, I do some stuff on my public Instagram account, Soul Chaser, but actually I'm getting creative now with my wife. We actually started this non-profit venture called Awaken, and I'm thinking about doing a lot more creative work there. And it's a lot along the lines that we're talking about today. Largely, what do you feed your mind? What do you feed your body? What do you feed your spirits in order to obtain just optimal energy to attack this world? Because we might have 24 hours a day, but 24 hours a day means nothing if you don't have the required energy to take on what you want to take on, right? So I think food is important. I think sports is important. I think silence is important. Being with yourself is important. So we're going to try to tackle this in a really creative way and just tell a story of, best practices and bring in other people from the community in terms of what works for everybody in terms of achieving their maximum potential. Because we all have it in us, right? We're all a universe, so to speak, within. So how do you tap into that, limitless potential? And I think Ahmed and Rashid undoubtedly will be able to tell you that the more they dig in, the more they feel powerful, and they feel that they can take on, and the bigger challenges they can take on. So I think everybody can do this, right? It's just a matter of where do you start, and how do we share our experiences with others, and in a creative way to do that. So I've been trying to figure out what to do with my photography and creativity for quite a few years now. But now, since my business is becoming a bit more systemized and on its own feet, and I've got a great team that's in place, I can start, maybe exploring my passions a bit more.
Perfect, great. Can I suggest something? Can I suggest something and try and be a co-curator for your expo? I'd like to expo some of your photographs in Qatar next year. I'm going straight off here, being very public. Next year, I'm celebrating the Qatar Natural Year, the Year of Culture of Qatar and USA. And I'd love for you to be part of my Big B meetup, which is going to celebrate the Year of Culture of Qatar and USA. Yeah. So I'd like you to participate in my event as a photographer and showcase all your photographs you've taken of Colorado, of the US, of the South, of Texas, and of Qatar, video and of photographs. I'm going out in the open here. I could have said this covertly, but I want to shoot it out right now here because I love your footage, your aerial footage. For one reason, I cannot do that. Yeah, and for the second is it's phenomenal. I like the way you put in music too in it. It's very nice. So I'd like to showcase that part of Khalifa Al Misnad next year in an expo. I'm also talking to a few other Americans, Qataris, and yeah, I will put that across to you in an email, and we will see how that goes. What do you say, Khalifa?
You're putting me on the spot, but sounds good. I don't know if we can do all media, but we can definitely do some media.
Yeah, I know what I want from you. I'll put it across to you, and you'll say, okay, let's do that. Because Ahmed Al Hajri is a phenomenal digital artist. So I'd like to introduce you to Ahmed Al Hajri at some point. He's a young American School of Qatar graduate, and I'd like him to be part of this also. Is this venture? And how I did it at Mo Al Thani's Altitude, where we have a speaker opportunity. like Khalid Al Jaber, the Qatari, the first Arab to cross the Americas. He took his BMW bike to Anchorage in Alaska and started riding all across till he reached the tip of Argentina. So he's got a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
stories to talk about. So I'm going to get him
yeah,
on board as well. And I told Mo as well because he's school in LA. He studied in LA. So I said, you might have some stories too. So I'm going to make a group of bunch of Qataris and a few Americans, and we are going to showcase this. Let's see how that goes. Yeah, for next year. Uh,
yeah. Sounds
yeah. So Ahmed has left us again, but that's fine. We are down to our last 10 minutes. I want to. Before I close shop here, there are a couple of questions popping up. If you guys could like to answer them, that'd be nice. Uh, yeah, Ahmed Al Hajri again. Now with the rise of technology, we are seeing people, especially kids, becoming so attached to the virtual world to a point where they forget or ignore the existence of sports or even art. Or will sports disappear as technology gets more advanced? That's a nice question, Ahmed, especially to adventurers like Khalifa, sorry, Rashid, and Ahmed. Because I particularly like the way Khalifa says now with so much of content on Instagram, you actually backed off. Like, it doesn't really inspire you with the photography. So can you answer this question, both of you guys? I'd love an answer because it's a nice question.
Rashid, do you want me to jump in or?
Yeah, sure. So, technology, as technology develop, technology can improve the sports also, like what we are seeing. For example, let's talk about football, as you mentioned football earlier. Football now, it's not only
Khalifa,
the
can you hear him?
referees in the football field. There is
Okay.
the VAR. Yeah. So it's the camera that the referee goes back to the camera and check if it's offside or not offside, if it's a legal
Yeah.
goal or not a legal goal. So technology is helping the sport to improve. It's not. The sport will never disappear. Take my word, Khalifa. It's your turn.
I'll take it. It'll definitely not disappear in Rashid's world, sports. But I think that technology can highlight, and inspire other people, just as it has with Ahmed's adventures and Rashid. I mean, a lot of people in Qatar may have never known about kite surfing had it not been for technology. I think technology is a slippery slope, right? I mean, there's definitely benefits and there's disadvantages, and it depends on how it's used. So I think that technology can definitely be helpful. At the same time, I think if kids get too used to technology at a young age and they're stuck in the house and they're stuck on the iPad and they don't develop the foundation of just being outdoors and playing in dirt, and the simple things, right? Then they're constantly engaged with the externality of, the dopamine releases of technology and just being entertained. So I think with time, people will start to understand how do we, raise our children with technology because it's still relatively new. And I think it will take time for us to learn how to balance it. And you're starting to see a lot of big technology companies like Apple or whoever else trying to find ways to help people to limit time on with it. So I think technology will provide benefits if somebody allows it to take over their life. That would be personal, but I don't see sports necessarily dying out. I think it's essential to our being. That's
Very
what I
well said.
per se.
Sorry to get personal, but Khalifa, a lady called Evelyn Maria, I'm sure you know her. She
Yeah,
says
for
Khalifa's
all my
uncle.
life.
Okay, lovely. Uh,
It's my,
Pardon?
it's my mother.
Oh, wow. Oh, lovely. I'm so sorry. I didn't know that. My
No,
apologies.
it's fine. She's going
Khalifa's
on the.
uncle. That's so
Huh?
nice of you. That's so nice of you. That's so nice of her. Because I have a lot of family support for my events also. I got my aunt tuning in from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. She
Yeah,
tunes in every Saturday. That's so nice.
she's
So
making
your
sure the
uncle was,
dog's doing good. That's all.
pardon? Ah, yeah, great, lovely, excellent. So your uncle was a professional hand glider, was he?
Yeah, he was. He's in the Guinness Book of World Records. Actually, he flew from New Mexico to
Wow.
Arizona, I believe. It was 2 different states. Flew about 300 miles using thermals and wind. And hang gliding back at the time he was doing it was quite dangerous. So he's picked up other things since then. But yeah, it runs in the
Wow.
family.
Exactly. And you had your mother, and you had your mother to tell you that. See, that's good. That's where you got your adventurous
That's what
bug
mothers are
bite.
for.
Yeah, exactly. That's so nice. Lovely. So, guys, before it's about time to close shop. I haven't done justice here with all of you. I would like to blame some of the technology we have today. I'd like to blame Orido. Yeah, but uh, since they're not sponsoring my show, huh. Yeah. But guys, it was a pleasure to have you guys on board. Khalifa, I'm so happy you introduced me to Rashid. He's a phenomenal guy. I've not yet met him in person, but e-meeting him is so nice. And what I like about there's one trait I like about all three of y'all is the humility. Very, very humble. You know, I got all the CVs of you guys, and you guys could be really, you could really act like snobs with your law bars and the lawyer that you are, the engineering degree and whatever. But very humble. I'd like to ask you all each, starting with Ahmed, your message of love and peace to all our viewers before we close shop in 5 minutes. We love, yeah, exactly. Hummingbirds, absolutely. Do you have a colony there, Khalifa, of hummingbirds?
Just this time of year, it seems.
Fantastic. Please send me more pictures. I want to actually go to Costa Rica to take pictures, but if they're coming to your place, maybe I'll just come down to Colorado next year.
Yeah, it's an easier transit, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So your message. Okay, hang on, guys. Somebody wants to ask. Please go ahead, Kahan Mirze. You can all the way from Russia. She has a question for you guys. Can you make it quick because we are about to close? But yalla, we're waiting. And while we wait, Ahmed, can you give us your message to all our viewers, please? And promise me you're going to co-host my next show. Ahmed. Okay.
Uh,
Okay, Oridu. Let's move to Khalifa. Ahmed, did you hear me, Ahmed? Can't hear him. Anyway, no worries.
I can't promise it, but we will do the live one, inshallah. So,
Can you hear me? Yeah. Did you hear my question? Can you? Do you have a message for all of us?
I heard
Can
you.
you?
Can you hear me?
Yes,
yeah.
I can hear you. Can you give us a message, your closing message for everybody? Okay, let's move to Khalifa. Khalifa, can you ask Ahmed if he can hear you, and then you could ask him that question for me.
Yeah, Ahmed, تسمعني؟ Ahmed?
There's a delay.
Okay, there's a delay. Yeah, there has been delays before. So can you give us your message, your closing message for everybody here, Khalifa Ahmed?
I can hear you, but there's a delay, Khalifa.
Yeah, so give us your message.
Oh, sorry. He doesn't hear you, Bosco. Seems. Is then Ahmed? Bosco is asking you if you have a message to everybody with regards to love and what was it, Bosco?
Yeah, it's just a closing message for everybody. We're closing the event, so I would
As
like
a
to.
co-host, he wants the closing message from you, but it has to be epic. He said.
Thank you, Khalifa. You're doing a good job. You got to do the same thing, huh? Okay, what's happening now? I thought, who's in Colorado, yeah, Habibi? Ahmed or Khalifa? Okay, Rashid, we'll go back to Ahmed because I have 3 more minutes only. Rashid, can you give us your is Ahmed playing Tron here? Rashid, can you give us your message, please, to all our viewers?
Yeah, sure, guys. Always fight for what you love.
Wow.
You will never forget. You never, and you should never, and you should never give up.
That's my Liverpool anthem, buddy. Never giving up. You never walk alone. Thank you so much. I hope you're a Liverpool fan like me. Khalifa, what's your message, buddy?
My message would be, I think, in times of this pandemic, that we're all connected in one way or another. You know, what we eat, how we treat each other, how we build ourselves. So just keeping in mind that we're all connected in some way or fashion. That's showing each other support and empathy and compassion is important to be better, generally speaking.
Very true. Thank you so much. That's a nice, quick, short message. Ahmed, Rashid, sorry, Khalifa, can you do that for me again, please? And we'll wait for Ahmed to answer. And then I'll say goodbye to everybody.
Ahmed, he's waiting on your final speech. Can you hear me?
هلا احمد تسمعني؟
Okay, he cannot. So that's fine. I think we'll.
Yeah, Ahmed, nobody wants to give him a call.
Yeah, let's give him a call. Okay.
And while you're calling him, we're gonna get to Kahan's question. Rashid, Kahan wants to know if you're the first Qatari to kite surf in a thobe. Oh, we lost Rashid as well.
No, Rashid. You lost Rashid? Hang on.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. Okay. No worries. I'm gonna call Ahmed. This is fun. I really like this.
Hello, big man.
Hey, buddy, Ahmed.
Hello.
Since we cannot hear you on the chat, can you give us your lasting message to the viewers, like your closing message, and then we'll call Ahmed. We'll call.
Yeah, man. I wrote. I think we just need to live life and love one another. I mean, if we treat each other.
I can hear you. I can hear you. That's why I cut it. Carry on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
I can't hear anyone, but you
It's
can hear
okay.
me, right?
Yes. Just say
All
your
right.
message.
I was just saying that I think what we need to do is just live life, love one another, treat each other as we would have, others treat us. And there's no right, there's no wrong. And I think one day we'll get this whole human existence and experiment down. And just be you. Don't be anyone else, just be you, man.
Such a beautiful message. Rashid, there's people asking you a question here. Were you the first guy on the kayak in a
I'm
white
not
dress?
good at
In a
reading
white dress.
lips, but I think you're saying
In a thobe.
good things.
Actually, it's
And
not a kayak,
sending love to
kite
everyone. Let's go.
surfing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so actually Khalifa did it before I do it, but
Oh.
he's the first guy to do foiling.
First guy to do foiling. Okay.
Type of sport. But Khalifa did that before I even start kite surfing.
Okay, Khalifa is a first of many. Huh? This guy, he's really awakening.
Rashid is the best student though ever. So I'm getting too old for this stuff. I'm just passing it on to him.
Okay, now I'll put you on the spot again. What do you mean by too old? What do you mean?
I'm just making the young guy feel good. I'm not too old.
Okay, great, lovely, guys. We're way past our bedtime here. I've taken it over 1 hour because you guys are just phenomenal people. Lovely talking to you all. Lovely having you all as hosts. I would definitely like to have you guys on board in the future once we are past quarantine and we are out in the open. I'll be having my first physical Big B meetup on the 31st of October, themed on Istidama. I might have it at a Qatari heritage site or at an international school. And I'd like you guys to participate and visit because you guys are phenomenal ambassadors for Qatar, not just for sport, but for in many ways. And I'd like you all to be keynote speakers at my future events when I have them on different topics. Definitely, Khalifa. Ahmed, you're not running away anywhere because you're part of Big B Meetup from day one. And Rashid, you're a new friend. Thank you for introducing me to Rashid, Khalifa.
Anytime. I
And
like to
thank you.
share all.
Pleasure.
Yeah, and
Pleasure, Pastor, to meet you. you and meet Ahmed for
Shukran, Habibi.
this virtual meeting.
Yes, great. And thank you, all the viewers. Thank you for tuning in. Excuse a few glitches, but this is the internet for you. And in these times, we cannot, nobody's perfect, but we keep carrying on. We keep never giving up. Yeah. So with that, I'd just like to say goodbye, ma salama, and good afternoon to Colorado. Enjoy your weather and evening, and to the little tubby there. Yeah, and bye, Ahmad. I know you can't hear me, but you can lip read me. Bye, Ahmad, and shukran ya Rashid. Yeah, bye,
Thanks,
guys.
Bosco. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
يلا نشوفك على خير شباب.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Khalifa.
Take care.